As if you didn't already suspect that Nikki Haley's 2024 Republican presidential campaign was off to a bad start, we've learned that she has been dramatically overstating the amount of money she has raised. And the campaign looks to be, I don't want to say dead on arrival, but very, very close. So the Washington Post reporting Nikki Haley's campaign vastly overstating her fundraising. Listen to this. Instead of the $11 million touted by her campaign, Haley brought in about $8.3 million, not all of which can even be used for the presidential campaign. They had been talking about $11 million in 6 weeks. But now that the filings have been made with the FEC, that was an over exaggeration. The campaign appears to have double counted money it moved among various committees. The filings covering the first 3 months of the year show that 3 committees affiliated with Haley collectively brought in $8.3 million. Haley's joint fundraising committee raised about $4.4 million. The campaign committee's haul of $5.1 million included $1.8 million from that other committee. So a bunch of that money was double counted. And this is all being considered highly unusual. The Trump campaign Saturday said they brought in about $14.5 million and then another $4.3 million into the leadership PAC, and on and on and on. Now, the funniest part of this is not all of that $8.3 million can actually be used for the campaign, because the leadership PAC is typically only to boost allies or to promote a message, not directly to finance her own campaign. So listen, this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. And there's 2 ways to interpret this. One way to interpret it is the fact that Nikki even raised 8, even though she can only use a fraction of it. That's already amazing for a candidate who isn't doing that well in the polls. The counterpoint would be, this is probably the most attention she will ever get. This was the big moment, and she still wasn't able to raise that much money. And it didn't do anything for her in the polling. And indeed, the polling doesn't look very good. Her best poll right now is a particular Iowa poll, which has her in 3rd place at 14% behind Trump and a guy who's not even running yet, Ron DeSantis. That's her best showing. Most polling has Nikki Haley at 2, 3, or 4%. For example, in the Kentucky primary, she's at 4%. In the Georgia primary, she is at 4%. So a couple different thoughts here. One, I don't think we had to wait for these numbers from both polling and fundraising to be able to say, this campaign's probably not going anywhere. At the same time, there's the perspective that the campaign doesn't really need to go anywhere, in the sense that Nikki Haley, I mean, listen, people have asked me before, when someone like Nikki Haley announces, given what the polling is, does Nikki Haley actually think she can win? I don't know the answer. I've never actually asked these candidates, you don't really think you can win, do you? I'm sure she wouldn't admit it if she didn't think she could win. But there's a particularly unique situation in this 2024 Republican primary, which is Nikki Haley could be running as an audition for VP. That's something that's been discussed and that I think should be considered and not ruled out. Sure, she might be running for VP. Trump certainly seems to think that she is. And also, there is the usefulness of more candidates to Trump, because when you look at 2024 polling, one of the things that you'll notice is in head-to-head matchups between Trump and DeSantis, DeSantis does better. Not better than Trump. He's still mostly losing to Trump, but he does better than when you have Trump, DeSantis, Haley, Pence, Tim Scott, Vivek Ramaswamy, and whoever else. The more candidates you have, the better it actually is for Trump. So there's also the speculation or the idea that Trump liked the idea of Nikki Haley running because it actually helps him. Needless to say, this is a campaign that, as a presidential campaign, was doomed from day one. As a vice presidential audition, remains to be seen, and we will indeed see that. As I've mentioned before, I supplement my diet with vitamins every day. I've tried different methods. None have been simpler or more cost effective than just a daily scoop of AG1 from our sponsor, Athletic Greens. With the one scoop, I get the 75 high quality vitamins and minerals from whole food sources that I want. I'm covered for the day. I'm not messing around with different vitamin capsules, and then some have 200 and some have 180, so they run out at different times. And it's a mess. It's a mess. This is simple. The taste is good. You can put it in water, juice, or shakes. Each serving is under $3 a day. Compare that to what all of the individual supplements would cost you, and it just makes sense. Simplify your life by starting the day with a scoop of 75 high-quality nutrients. When you go to athleticgreens.com/Packman, you'll get a free year supply of vitamin D. I've talked about vitamin D before, and 5 free travel packs of AG1. The link is down below.